about this idea that he might take up the offer of a palace over in the UAE, 16,000 square foot. The Emirates billionaire ruler of Abu Dhabi has said, look, he can come and live his life out here instead. I mean, talk about landing on your feet.
In the blinding heat of Abu Dhabi's golden desert, far from Windsor's grey skies and centuries of protocol, a fallen prince is quietly reinventing his life. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, once the Duke of York, once the Queen's favored son, now walks in exile. No titles, no honors, not even the comfort of the home that once shielded him from the world's judgment. The Royal Lodge, that grand refuge wrapped in denial and nostalgia, is no longer his sanctuary. In its place stands something new and far more opulent. Across the sea, hidden behind guarded walls and manicured hedges, a palatial retreat awaits. A gift fit for a ruler, not a disgraced royal.
From the news media, including the headline this morning from the Sun newspaper, the headline reading, "Banned Old Duke of York."
Here, in a land where questions go unanswered and power is never challenged, the fallen duke can simply vanish. His descent has been nothing short of extraordinary. Once a naval officer celebrated for bravery in the Falklands, Andrew's name has become a cautionary tale, a symbol of arrogance, scandal, and privilege gone wrong. Newspapers that once hailed his service now mock him with brutal headlines. For years, the institution that protected him, the palace, the press, even his own family, looked the other way. But the shield cracked, and when it did, it was his brother, King Charles, who finally drew the line. In one swift move, the king stripped Andrew of his titles, his military honors, and his right to call himself His Royal Highness. It was a royal reckoning, the final act in a long and humiliating unraveling. Now, as he quietly prepares to leave the United Kingdom, insiders describe it as an internal exile.
My question would be this. Would that not expose the country and the royal family to potential bribery and coercion? You're sending good old Handy Andy over to hang out with influencers and oligarchs on the yachts of Abu Dhabi. What could go wrong?
For the moment, he's said to be staying on a small estate at Sandringham, but few believe that's where this story ends. Because according to those close to him, Andrew's eyes are already fixed on something grander, a new life shimmering beneath the Abu Dhabi sun. A 16,000 square foot palace valued at nearly £10 million, reportedly offered to him by one of the world's most powerful men, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, or MBZ, the ruler of the United Arab Emirates. Their friendship runs deep, stretching back more than 2 decades to the days when Andrew served as Britain's trade envoy. Back then, he was the royal middleman, shaking hands with billionaires, flying across the Gulf, forging ties with power brokers. In those days, the Emirati elite opened their palaces to him, offering lavish hospitality that few could ever refuse. Now, that old connection could become his escape route, a golden lifeline from one powerful man to another who's lost his crown. MBZ has reportedly invited Andrew to reside within his heavily fortified Sea Palace compound, a fortress where discretion and indulgence coexist. It's a world few ever see. Behind 30-foot walls, through layers of security checkpoints, lies a realm reserved for royals, generals, and men of influence. Every car is scanned, every visitor logged, cameras track each movement. Inside those gates, the outside world simply disappears. For a man desperate to vanish, it's perfection. The palace itself is a vision of quiet grandeur. 6 vast marble-lined bedrooms, a private cinema, a glittering indoor pool. A personal gym fit for royalty. The kitchen, staffed by cordon bleu chefs, glows with golden accents, from the taps to the light switches. Everything gleams. Everything whispers wealth. One designer described the aesthetic as modern majesty, a playful gilded twist on palace luxury. But Abu Dhabi offers more than extravagance, it offers silence. Here, the media doesn't stalk your every move. Criticism of the powerful is almost unheard of, and for Andrew, that's the greatest luxury of all. Royal biographer Andrew Lowney once said, he'd be happy in a place where the media is muzzled, and he's right. In Britain, Andrew is haunted by cameras, mocked in headlines, and rejected by a public that once adored him. In Abu Dhabi, he could finally live as he once did, respected, insulated, untouchable. It's easy to see the appeal, because back home, redemption is out of reach, his reputation in ruins. His television interview intended to clear his name did the opposite, painting him as arrogant and delusional. His retreat into royal walls made him a symbol of everything the public resents, privilege without accountability. Even now, his quiet move from Royal Lodge to Sandringham isn't seen as humility, it's seen as defeat. Yet through it all, one thing has remained: his connections. MBZ's offer of a palace isn't mere generosity, it's a signal of loyalty, a powerful man extending a hand to a fallen one. Sources suggest the palace refurbishment began soon after Queen Elizabeth's passing, a subtle gesture that speaks volumes. And perhaps it goes even deeper. Reports claim that Andrew and MBZ's paths first crossed decades ago, not in royal halls but at Gordonstone School in Scotland. What began as a schoolboy acquaintance evolved into a friendship that endured through diplomacy, scandal, and exile. For Andrew, that bond may now be his only refuge. This isn't his first brush with Abu Dhabi's glittering world. Over the years, he's been a familiar face at exclusive golf events, often joined by his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Both women have attended business conferences and royal functions in the region, building their own connections among the global elite. And when their father's titles were stripped, they were conveniently photographed in Saudi Arabia, then, not long after, in Abu Dhabi. Insiders whisper that the sisters are preparing the ground, testing the waters before their father makes his quiet escape. It's a story that mirrors another fallen royal, Spain's former king Juan Carlos, who also sought refuge in Abu Dhabi after scandal drove him from his throne. For the rulers, offering sanctuary to disgraced monarchs isn't a burden, it's a statement of prestige. It signals power, influence, and control. And for Andrew, that gilded isolation may be exactly what he's been searching for. No paparazzi, no cold British winters, no jeering crowds, just marble floors, humming air conditioners, and silence the kind that money buys but dignity can't. Yet for the monarchy he leaves behind, the shadow remains. His exile may grant him peace, but it won't heal the wound he left on the crown's image. And while Andrew fades into luxury, Sarah Ferguson faces her own uncertain future. For years she shared Royal Lodge with her ex-husband, living in the echo of her former title, the Duchess of York. But now, that chapter is over. The invitations have stopped, the social doors have closed. Friends say she feels restless, adrift. With her daughters often abroad and her media ventures faltering, there's little left to hold her in Britain. Some close to her believe she's considering a move overseas herself, perhaps even following Andrew's path toward quiet exile. For a woman who has always spoken of second chances, maybe she's about to take one. A chance to escape Windsor's whispers. To rebuild far from the weight of scandal. And so, as the sun sets over the dunes of Abu Dhabi, a new chapter begins not for the monarchy, but for its most controversial outcast. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, no longer a prince, no longer a symbol of service, just a man behind gilded gates, living a life drenched in gold but empty of honor. Britain will move on without him, but behind those palace walls, in the quiet hum of the desert night, the Queen's fallen son will finally have what he always craved: privacy, silence, and the heavy solitude of a man who traded respect for refuge. But what do you think? Has Prince Andrew truly found peace in exile, or is this just another chapter in a lifetime of denial and privilege? Do you believe the monarchy is better off without him? And what about Sarah Ferguson? Will she follow him abroad or finally carve her own path? Share your thoughts below. I read every single one. And if you want to stay caught up with every twist and secret in this royal saga, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the conversation. Because when it comes to the royals, the story is never really over.